After 13 years of war and nearly 54 years in power, the Assad regime in Syria is out. Rebels have seized the capital of Damascus. Russia says President Bashar al-Assad has resigned and left the country. Crowds in Damascus and all around the world are now celebrating. Here's ABC's Patrick Ravel with how it all unfolded.
Historic scenes of celebration in Syria as dictator Bashar al-Assad was overthrown. A coalition of rebel groups seizing the capital Damascus today after sweeping across the country in a lightning offensive, putting an end to the Assad family regime, which has been in power since 1971. Russian state media reporting that Assad and his family have fled to Moscow, saying the Kremlin will offer its ally asylum. People walking freely the presidential palace, also ransacking Assad's homes. In the streets, jubilant crowds celebrating as regime forces appeared to melt away. Emotional scenes as the rebels broke open Assad's notorious prisons. Such scenes were considered unthinkable less than 2 weeks ago when the rebels, led by an Islamist group, launched their sudden offensive. But that quickly snowballed and key cities across the country were overrun in days. On the empty roads into the capital, burning military vehicles. Piles of uniforms abandoned by Assad's soldiers on the streets. Today, the leader of the Islamist rebel group Abu Mohammed al-Jawani arriving triumphantly in Damascus, addressing a crowd at a mosque. President Biden today saying the US is ready to talk with all rebel groups to try to build a new inclusive Syria.
They're saying the right things now. But as they take on greater responsibility, we will assess not just their words, but their actions.
Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, whose country borders a part of Syria, announcing the Israeli Defense Forces had seized a buffer zone inside Syria, saying it was to secure Israel's border. President-elect Donald Trump saying the US shouldn't intervene. Around the world, celebrations from exiled Syrians. More than 5 million Syrians were driven abroad by the brutality of the Assad regime and the civil war, including over 1 million to Europe alone. Huge numbers of Syrians now hope they can return home. For now, so much uncertainty. The question, how will the rebels govern, and can Syria finally put conflict behind it? Patrick Reevell, ABC News, London.